would cry because I didn't even know where it came from. I never wanted anyone to feel the pain of what my mom put me through, let alone someone I loved.
All right. So, Mason, we are back. Good to have you. I know that
Nice.
once you got out of that program, the hybrid program that you were in Utah, and you ended up going back to your grandma's, when you started getting into your late teens, early 20s, because I know you're 25 years old now, what was life like? What were you doing with yourself?
Not much.
Were you working?
So when I got back from that program, I was 18 now and was homeless still. My grandma took me in for a little bit, but then, I came back from that program in Utah with a death wish, like wanting to use to die for the first time. And the person who ended up seeing me the day I got back was my girlfriend, who I had been with since 14, and she brought me a handle of Smirnoff, like 20 bars, some Adderall, some Coke, and like a little like gift package for an addict. She thought that would like make me really happy.
This was at your grandma's house?
Yeah, her car, she was driving then, and then she would pick me up every day from my grandma's, take me out. We would just do everything in the car, just fucking use, drink, fuck, like trapped out of that car, and go from these beautiful like scenic places in Palos Verdes, Redondo Beach, Torrance, or concerts.
I know the area all too well.
Yeah, it's an interesting background to be so miserable in.
Right.
And then her mom ended up taking me back in, and I lived with her and her mom again, which I didn't trust her mom anymore. She had been so good to me, but after going to Triumph, the place in Utah, which she had recommended I do as well, I just didn't trust anyone, and so it was a bad scene living there. I was hiding my drinking, hiding my weed smoking, hiding my Xanax taking very poorly. I had gotten a prescription for Klonopin because my mom, it runs in the family. I'm an excellent doctor shopper, and you should never prescribe an 18-year-old Klonopin just because they say the right words, unless they're very much suffering and can have people back that up. And I was suffering, and I think I could have gotten it either way, but I just said I was unable to work, and it was interfering with that, and then she wrote me a script. It was like a 10-minute session, and so I was drinking and taking Klonopin for about a year, living that life. I was still at the house with Kayla and her mom. Decided to stop one night because I stopped being able to get high, and my tolerance had gotten to 14 milligrams Xanax and 6 milligrams of Klonopin a day. So I was also buying it off the street or off friends. And so I quit drinking, so drunk every day, every night on those pills to stop both cold turkey. By 11 a.m., I had a grand mal seizure in my girlfriend's car on the way for her to steal me vodka because my jaw had started locking up and my hands were fucking hag raven claws, and it was ugly. I woke up with blood all over my shirt from having bitten up my mouth, and still, you can feel it. And transferred from that hospital right to Betty Ford down in Palm Springs because I have excellent insurance through my dad, and my dad had been there twice, and when I got there, it was like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be, I guess. That was the first time I received real help. It was at Betty Ford. They have an excellent program.
So when you got into your 20s, what was life like?
So I was mostly really I was doing the right things, staying in the right place, but not changing anything about me. I had the same characteristics. I still stole. I was still dishonest. I still wasn't sober. I cheated the tests with kratom or phenibut, and so I wasted a lot of people's time, money, and energy, including mine, I went to Barn Life they all liked me there a lot.
I know them very well.
Matt Carver is an excellent human being.
Yeah.
He's an ethical guy, and
good guy.
He gave me so many chances because he wanted to hire me eventually towards the end, and I kept fucking up. I kept, even those drugs would beat the test, I would still end up doing like acid and causing a scene, or getting so drunk that it was just evident, and going to detox and back into treatment paired with housing that my insurance was paying for.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really living a half life, if you want to call it that, going from rehab to outpatient care to rehab to outpatient care without changing. It's not a life.
So, any kind of homelessness going on during that time, or were you staying places?
Occasionally, I mostly had either like a detox to crash at, or because I knew my insurance very well and I began to learn the industry very well. They made up a term for people like me and maybe someone watching.
And what term would that be?
Treatment savvy.
Treatment savvy. Okay. Now, you got into opiates in your 20s, or was that early on in life?
So from 18 to 21, me and my partner were annulled. So we were married at a time up in Washington, where she was going to college and I was working. But out of Betty Ford, I didn't trust doctors anymore, because in my eyes they had failed me at such a systemic level. They got my mom spun out on benzos because they didn't know how to actually treat her or help her. They had gotten me spun out on benzos, though, with my willingness. And so I didn't take any recommended, medications. I wasn't on SSRI, I wasn't on comfort meds, I wasn't on anything. And it was miserable. I was white knuckling it, and it was the most depressing. I had panic attacks every day. I didn't care about her anymore, my partner. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about the world. And I was trying to work during this, having panic attacks in the kitchen or at the register. It was hell. And so Kayla saw me change from the person she loved into a stranger before her eyes, and vice versa. And she put up with way too much of that. And then towards the end, I fell off after 9 months of white knuckling it, obviously. And would get drunk, get blacked out drunk, and be verbally abusive. And that just so wasn't me. She would wake up telling me things I said, and I would cry because I didn't even know where it came from. I never wanted anyone to feel the pain of what my mom put me through, let alone someone I loved. And all of a sudden, the abused becomes the abuser, and she ended up leaving me, rightfully, way too late at a Red Roof Inn next to SeaTac with a bag full of shit I didn't even like, because she had all the property in the apartment was hers because her name was on the apartment. So she pulled that, and then I ended up hopping out of a third-story window at that Red Roof Inn because the DTs were so bad that I thought people were out to get me, and I don't know how I didn't break anything. I just kind of rolled and running down the streets of downtown Seattle saying it's a shootout at the Red Roof Inn. And needless to say, I got taken to a psych ward immediately, and ended up transferring from that psych ward in Washington, coming back home to California, straight to Betty Ford again.
So you're 25 years old now. You had gotten sober. You had a little over 100 days, I believe, more recently.
Yeah.
You relapsed on ketamine, but just wondering, what was your crisis moment to bring you into the path of recovery, let's say in the last 3 months?
So I was doing better. I was doing an outpatient owned by Martin Life called Peer Mental Wellness, which is an excellent program with the staff I knew most of and really liked and cared for. And the relapses, though, at the end just were same as ever, chronic. And some of them were so messy, like going to treatment after blacking out the night before on Xanax, pressed Xanax, mind you, and smoking meth, and 2, not sleeping that whole night, blacked out, went straight into treatment, gave my case manager Xanax in front of a prospective client, gave the owner of the program Xanax in front of the group. It was just so ugly that they had to let me go, and I had really grown to care for these people, and that kind of slapped me in the face, like, wow, I got nothing figured out, and I'm such a problem. The people who love me can't even keep me around them. And that kind of re-sparked some motivation. And when I went into detox after that, it was like an experience of Betty Ford for the first time, as far as how much I cared about the group we had and how good of a group it was, and it got me revitalized in a way towards treatment. So that's how I got a little over 100 days, and then the rationalizing egoist that I am, told myself, like, I don't need to talk to my therapist about how my mom coerced me into having sex with her at 13 and 14. He doesn't need to know that. I don't want to talk about that with him. I can take ketamine to deal with that, to really log down the trauma and to really make some progress in the comfort of my sober living room. And I ended up taking it the wrong way and taking too much. Never blacked out on K before, but I did. I came to, with my pants around my legs and naked in the backyard at like 45-degree weather. That's why it was so small. And I told the house manager on duty that I had taken ketamine and that it wasn't okay. And I was bawling and bawling, muttering like my mom won, just bad. And went back to detox, and I've been out for 11 days, but I haven't been this defeated in a long, long time. And I want to use that as an opportunity instead of a crutch or a reason to go out again, because I know there's nothing for me out there but death.
Huh. That's powerful. Very, very powerful. And I'm happy that you're back. I'm happy that you're back in the swing of things, trying to really, really get recovery under your belt. You're very well spoken. You're very well versed. You're a smart young man, bright young man. I can tell.
Should have seen me before the coma and the drugs.
I'm sure it was a scene. No, I'm happy that you're in my life now.
Likewise.
I find you very interesting, and I really want to see you get your life back completely and become the man that you're meant to be, rather than get caught back up in the facade. If you were somebody that you know is struggling with addiction, with trauma, deep-rooted trauma, any type of mental health, or alcoholism for that matter, you can always call me. My name is Pej, 310-596-9356. I really want to thank my friend Mason for coming and talking with me today. This is a very powerful couple of episodes that we have made, and thank you. We're signing out.